Coming up next on RaceSpotTV, Monday Night Skippys is back and we're heading to the Belgian countryside. No, it's not Spa, we're off to Zolder. Hello. Monday Night Skippy's back once again. It is 9 o'clock on Monday night, and where else are you going to be other than RaceSpotTV? We are here at Zolder, and Connery, of the Belgian tracks, this has to be a close second favourite. I mean, obviously, we're going to go for Spa, but Zolder has its own unique street circuity feel to this place. It's round number 6 here for Monday Night Skippy's, and this is a very different style of race to what we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, it is quite different indeed from the likes of Spa. There's not much of a draft effect here, even though it does tend to keep those packs together. But coming through the first sector, these wide open, sweeping medium speed corners, and then once you get later on in the lap, you have these tight chicanes that these drivers have to negotiate as well with, anti-cut curbs, which are more death curbs as you run over them, but should be interesting nonetheless.
They are indeed. We'll have a quick look here at Tom Ward, the 09 car. Problems last week for him. We saw him retire from the race, but we'll see Tom in a lap here as the car in front of him decides to torpedo off to the inside of the racetrack and not have such a great qualifying lap. But we'll have a quick look at Ward here. We'll talk about these curbs that are so problematic here at the end of Sector 1. You'll see this big braking zone, really, one of the longer straights here. And they've got this double chicane feature here, which is tempts you to cut it, but those sausage curbs, Connery, are massive. They will really upset a car like this one, and they leave you not the particular circumstances to want to carry on, especially seeing as you get some major cut down penalties on these as well.
Yeah, you will, especially on the first lap when those slowdown penalties will be quite severe. You'll just be dropped right to the back of the pack pretty much. And then, sort of coming down into those for the first time, where you have a huge pack of cars usually going 2 or 3 wide, it could be cause for some major issues coming down.
Could indeed, as they're coming towards the end of the lap now for Ward. He's sitting in 5th right now for his qualifying efforts, and he's up here behind the 27 machine of Edwards, the current pole sitter, who is just up ahead of him. He's got one more chicane to go now, as they will come through. See what sort of times we get from these guys. Edwards not looking like he's on a particularly fast one, but it looks as though there's a buddy there behind Tom Ward. Let's see if that's had any effect. As across the line they'll come, and Ward does not improve. He goes down. Ross Balfour, the 34, was the teammate there of Ward who improves to 2nd place, so he's one to look out for here. Ross Balfour. Once again, Tom Ward has a friend in the top 5, which hasn't been the usual circumstances, Connery. He's been pretty friendless. So, might have somebody to help him bring the battle to Mark Mercer this season.
Yeah, but he's going to have to, because the first couple of rounds of this season, he's had a terrible time of things, and actually he's only picked up one race win. And we say only one race win, Rachel, because you know exactly what happened last season with winning a large amount of the races there. I think he pretty much won half of them with the amount of points that he had over Stuart Adcock. But he's down in 6th place in the points now, which is not where he wants to be, and he's a 5-time champion, so he's going to need some good results to get himself back up there.
It certainly is, but this is the circumstance that Mercer was left in after last time, of course, at Spa when he had the disconnect. But, of course, we come forwards to the race at Virginia National, and that was a whole different game. Whereas we are going to your grid now. So, without further ado, we are going to go to your starting grid. Starting the poll today, Simon Edwards with a 143.758. That's Balfour in 2nd place, with Mark Mercer, Vicky Mantonides and Stuart Hancock rounding out your top 5. Then it is Tom Ward, Kane Halliburton, Robert Plumley, Chris Malcolm and James McRitchie in 10th place. The rest of your top 20 is Bill Fraser, Jonathan Sheen, Bern Daniels, Jack Hobbs, Peter Cowan, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, Paul Thurston back there in 17th, Anthony Catt, Simon Maltby and Neil Bontemps. So results up on your screen as Connor, we're going to get ready to grid these cars for today. Hello if you're tuning in to join us for the broadcast. 14 laps here at Zolder will be a fantastic race. It does have a bit of a street racing feel to this one. Not obviously actually a street track, but it feels a bit more like one with the lots of chicanes, the quite acute corners we see here. And well, this 2.49 mile track with 10 corners will make for an exciting round. And we have a reasonably sized field here. Limited space, of course. We have, I believe, 50 cars in the session, 49 of whom have set qualifying times, so it's going to be busy.
Yeah, very busy indeed, as you say. 49 set times, and one driver I'm looking at through this qualifying grid right now, Gordon Ramsay. He had a fantastic run last time out at VAR, just mixing things up inside of the top 5, but the thing is, down in P number 25 for this event, so it's up to him whether to prove that the VIR was just a one-off, or he actually does have the pace to run up amongst inside the top 10, but that qualifying effort is going to get him nowhere.
It is not, no. And we are, of course, going to head across to our starting grid in just a few moments' time as we just watch our clock tick away. Wow, this track is going to be difficult. There are sections, of course, where it's quite narrow. An incident with this number of cars can, of course, result in some major problems for us, Connery. But we typically see fairly clean races here at Zolder. They spread out fairly rapidly.
Yes, they do, and let's just see if that does remain the case here, as since this field is so large. Again, we have, dare I say, a usual case in Monday Night Skippys of the back of the field rounding the final corner on the race, having to do one corner more than pretty much everyone else ahead of them. But yeah, drivers are heading towards the grid now. Of course, the driver on pole position has the inside line here coming down in towards turn number 1, which could be crucial to get yourself through that relatively clean, as everyone else sets themselves back up on towards the grid. There's Tom Ward from P number, well, what is going to be row number 3, P number 6, in fact. But the thing is, we know, Rachel, Tom Ward, not great at qualifying, but his race pace is very close to being unmatched.
It absolutely is, and we'll have a quick look at our 1 second bracket to give you an indication of our performance today. And, well, this is quite a middle-of-the-park sort of territory. Normally we see at a track where it's a very big difference in terms of speeds and its driver talent, maybe the top 5 or 10 will be within a second. But some tracks we've had up to the top 30 when it's been a short track like Lime Rock Park. Here, 18th place is our 1 second cutoff, the 143.758 to the 144.742 of Anthony Catt. So 18 cars within that 1 second bracket, which is information that is often quite useful to indicate how well a field will stay together in an event like this. Everyone's on the grid now. We're coming down to this final few seconds here before the lights will go out on the iRacing.com gantry, and we'll get ready for the green flag here today at Zolder for round number 6 on the Monday Night Skippys calendar. This season, start of 2018, of course. These guys were off with a bang, starting on just after Christmas Day. I believe Boxing Day was the first round, and we've been going ever since, so they certainly keep this one active as the engines will roar to life. Green flag is out, racing here at Zolder. Decent start by the front few rows. Ward getting a slightly better one further back. The top three pulled away somewhat there from Adcock and Antonides in the fourth and fifth place, I should say. So Balfour holds on to second place in the start behind Edwards, ahead of Mark Mercer. Looking back in your pack. Great start through most of the field. Some two wide remaining still, but mostly everyone trying to find their single line through this first fast sequence of corners. Bit of three wide at the back. Further up, though, we'll keep our eyes on them as they come down into the first really big braking zone, that first chicane. One of the trickiest sections at the start of this lap, Connery. It'll be a place where they really need to have an indication of how well they're positioning around their other drivers here. Everyone's single filing out for this one, needing to get that right line in here, not pushing too hard too soon. Nice and cleanly for the first half of your top 10.
Yeah, which is why I held my judgment back before I saw them come through this chicane, as Neil Bontemps has to drop back. There's also an issue with a little bit of free wide between Jack Hobbs, Vaughan Roberts and McRitchie there in the mid-pack, but I think everyone else has gotten themselves through the chicane fine, apart from the 075. That's actually his best spinner in the mid-pack there. That was the car of Gordon Ramsay. Again, I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast. Maybe I jinxed him a little bit. Number 38 machine running down in through the field now. There's like another car that's straight line in the chicane. That's Tim Adcock, the number 21 car, having issues as well.
Are you saying that Gordon Ramsay overcooked it?
Oh, God.
Come on, it was unavoidable in terms of puns. That's one that we have to pull out if it's potential. But we'll digress back to the front of your race as it's Edwards, Balfour, Mercer, Adcock, Antonides, Ward. No change in your top 6 cars there. Halliburton behind them, Plumley as well. Plumley's been regularly showing up in the top 10, Connery. He's up there in 8th place where he qualified, and he's finding his way closer to the front of this field. I should say inching further. But we'll have to see how his performance stands over the duration of this one. A bit further back, it's a little busier down towards the rear of your pack. Have a look at Darrell Taylor here at the 22 machine. One of the banana machines is running just here at the back of a bit of a knot of cars. Leading forward to about Neil Bontemps there, Bod Rowland, or Bod Boland even. That name completely threw me off. Got Matt Cox, Jake Riddleton, Paul Rowell and Simon Askew up there as well. These guys pushing pretty hard. A little bit of a hint of 3 wide there. With contact as the 110 of Simon Askew just noses there into Roll's rear end. Bit of 2 wide in front of them there. That is, I believe, Bontemps and Kirkman scattered just ahead of them coming out of that first chicane. Towards front, it's once again quiet on the western front. Tom Ward's working there on Antonides towards the back of this top 6 pack that's broken away here. Although they are being chased, of course, by Halliburton, Plumley and Fraser. Looks as though here, Connery. Ooh, for him, Antonides will be the first of our victims. Oh, you have, yes, Antonides. I was just saying he was going to be the first of our victims. I think the commentator's curse struck rather rapidly there, but it was actually assisted by Tom Ward, which is not exactly unusual. So there is that. But a little slow out of the corner. Ward really didn't have much place to go. Gets into the back of him, round he goes. Antonides will drop a few spots there and a bit of damage. But this could affect Tom Ward, of course. He could have a little bit of damage on the front end there. He did bury his nose rather firmly up the backside of Antonides' machine there whilst trying to avoid him. So it could have an impact.
It could definitely have an impact, and he also risks dropping him off the draft of this front 4. But the thing is, the fact at this track isn't all that much, as Bill Fraser behind Tom Ward, in fact, almost dives down the inside of Kane Halliburton there. And Bill Fraser, Rachel, he's one of the more aggressive drivers, shall we say, that we have in this Monday Night Skippys field, and he's always looking to make those positions from his qualifying back in 11th. But Kane Halliburton has to run wide there, coming through turn number 4, up towards the chicane of turn number 5. Battle for the race lead though ahead. Ross Balfour to the pointy end of the field.
You just missed a big one there. Back there, number 16 of Ryan Hewitt. Well, there was I think it was a lapped car on the inside. It's the 4 machine. And I believe that is, in fact, that's Jonathan Sheen. Sheen was slow on the inside, coming into that second corner, takes the inside line. Hewitt comes across the front of him, Connery, and just closes a door that wasn't his right to close, shunts himself out onto the sand with a very damaged race car. Looks like he's torpedoed his chances.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say the torpedo being torpedoed, but the thing is that instant was his fault cutting across the front of Jonathan Sheen there. But enough of that now. He's down on towards the lane and likely won't be coming out for the rest of this race because he took the tow. You know, you have to then take the fast repair. And that's going to put you all the way back through the field, laps down. So he's going to be retiring in that car. But looking back towards the front of the field, after Ross Balfour got himself in front, coming down through that first chicane, he's managed to pull out a slight bit of a gap over Simon Edwards, around about 6.5 tenths of a second as it stands right now as they head on towards lap number 4 of the event, down in towards turn number 1, and Tom Ward looking for the move over the car ahead there. That was of Stuart Adcock, but Adcock a little bit too far ahead for Ward to be making that move, and this is what we see Tom Ward do every single round, Rachel. He starts further back, gets himself to the front, and usually he stays there.
Absolutely, he nibbles away like a little mouse and just chews away bits of the cheese block in front of him until, well, all that's left is the trap at the end. But in this case, that's normally a trophy of some sort for winning the race. But Tom Ward there just trying to get his way further forwards in this thing, try and find an opportunity to work on Stuart Adcock, who is not exactly the easiest of customers to take to driving school here, Connery, because he's one of the old campaigners of the series and always proves to be the nemesis of Tom Ward, because those two have tangled enough times on the racetrack that we know they have some bad blood between them. If Adcock doesn't want to let him through, he's not going to let him through, and there's not much Tom Ward could do about it. I think as long as Stuart's in one piece, he will not be quite so amenable to letting Ward get away with this one easily.
Yeah, you say bad blood, but I remember 2 seasons ago when that battle at Bathurst for the finale was happening, and then Stuart Adcock basically took out Tom Ward coming onto the final couple of laps. But the thing is, Adcock pulled it down towards pit lane and let Tom Ward back through to take the championship, which is one of the great sporting moments that this series has had. That was Bathurst.
It was Bathurst, yes. That was at Bathurst when Ward and Adcock had that moment, but we also don't forget the year or so beforehand when they had that massive punch-up, of course, at Mid-Ohio. But this is what great racing rivalries are made of: controversy and sportsmanship. And those two have had their combination of the two. Out front, Balfour doing his best here to pull ahead, but he's been drawn back in again by Simon Edwards, the number 27 machine, doing his best to close this one up, as Mark Mercer looks set to try and have a go here if he sees opportunity. Edwards trying to work on Balfour, not really focusing on his rearview mirror as much as he should be. Great run there by Mercer. Can he convert it into an attempt as everyone goes for a defensive line? He's going to look up the inside. He chooses to come back across. There's up the inside. Everyone's going to go for a move here. But Edwards up the inside of Balfour. Ward up the inside of Adcock. And, well, it worked for both of them. It's a very busy little bit of braking zone there.
Yeah, very, very busy indeed. But the thing is, they all managed to get their way through relatively unscathed, and it's up into the second chicane now. The chicane of turn 7 is actually Robert Plumley down the field, having a huge instant with the car of Ben Daniels there coming out of the first chicane. And actually, those were 2 separate instants. Plumley just basically he clipped the inside curve a bit too much.
Yeah, they both just did the same exact thing, almost in the same spot, actually. Both of them kind of lost it midway through the corner. It looks as though the driver with them as well, the 361 of Hobbs, also had a wobble. In fact, every single car involved in that was sideways at some point, but somehow 2 of them lived through it. So maybe someone dropped some oil there on that first chicane, because all 4 cars in that pack were sideways in that one as we come back to the lead group here. They're coming across the line here on to lap number 6. It's Edwards, Balfour, Mercer still in 3rd place. Ward up in 4th now, Adcock in 5th. Gap back to Bill Fraser is about a second here. Fraser's pulled the gap now, of course. Plumley had a moment. So Plumley had dropped back. Halliburton back there in 7th place. Malcolm Hobbs and, of course, Paul Thurston. Mr. Thurston's pulled himself into the top 10 here. He's leading a group of Maltby and Cowan. Those 2 very competent drivers who are right at the back of Mr. T. And he's doing his best, but his last lap was a 44.988. Maltby on a 44.5 and Cowan on a 5 as well. So half a second slower there for Thurston. Was it just a bad lap or a defensive run?
Oof, and just a close moment there for Tom Ward coming through the first chicane. Will actually get the position over Mark Mercer, and Mercer is also one of the protagonists for this series, as Balfour down towards the inside of the second chicane for the race lead, but Balfour will get himself through. Tom Ward's also sensing an opportunity as well, but Mercer has managed to get his nose back ahead. Has to go around the outside at turn, at the little kink there. It's not technically a turn here on the track map, but Ward will have to drop behind now, up in towards turn number 8 now, as they all weave on the brakes, trying to find a gap, but no gap arising. But Mercer wrenching one open over Edwards.
He does. Nicely done. Yeah, it looks like Tom Ward tried to bite off a bit too much of that apple, thinking that his teammate had opened the door there. He tried to go through as well, but it cost him speed. And Mark Mercer took advantage of getting back up to 3rd place there. As look at this, what a huge stonking dive bomb there from Bill Fraser, trying to get himself involved in this pack there on Stuart Adcock, as that definitely lightens things up a little bit here. As up across the line they'll come again. Lap number 7 here. Balfour, Edwards, Mercer, Ward, Adcock, and Bill Fraser's closed down that second gap with the fighting very rapidly. In fact, so has Halliburton as well. They've all closed in. The front pack lost a huge chunk of time there, Connery, by actually competing with each other.
Yeah, this is why we don't usually see the front pack battling things out until the latter stages of the event, but they're battling midway through the event here, as we are on lap number 7 on 14, as Edwards has to push wide coming through turn number 4. This will give the run to Mercer coming down into the first chicane. Picks driver's left-hand side. He had the option to go either way. Battle of the late breakers down to here, but I think Edwards is just going to let Mercer through, and he does, but Mercer misses up the last part of the chicane, and there goes Tom Ward, tries to go down the middle, but makes contact with Edwards, and Edwards make contact with Ward as well, and Ward's in the concrete wall.
Let's rewind this one, take a quick replay of what happened here, as of course we had a big braking move there by Mark Mercer into the first chicane, all well and good. Then slow through there for Edwards. Ward got a gap, had speed but nowhere to go, didn't think to go on the brakes, and he hit both Mercer and Edwards, but hit Edwards harder. Edwards comes to the inside and closes off the door again, and well, carnage there for Tom Ward. Another self-inflicted injury, but Edwards is out of this thing too. Flipping his car there, actually, as he gets hit by Halliburton. So Halliburton in major trouble there, as quite a few of your players truly out of this thing here today in spectacular fashion. Now Ross Balfour comes out the final corner as your leader. Mark Mercer in 2nd place. Well, Simon Edwards, Tom Ward nowhere to be seen. Stuart Adcock is in one piece. Bill Fraser's ahead of him. And moves Fraser up to 3rd place. And Edwards is in the pits. He's dropping down the order. It'll be Kane Halliburton limping to pit road, damaged. That'll move Jack Hobbs and Chris Malcolm up. So Malcolm now up to the 5th spot. Hobbs, Thurston up to 6th place, 7th place here at the moment. That will go down a bit more, I suspect, if this carries on. But Thurston's been pulling up his times actually quite a bit here. 35 was dead last time by. It was an odd lap because he was faster last time by than Cowan and Maltby. This time he was slower. Bill Fraser's now 2-3 seconds back from the leaders here with Stuart Adcock after that incident. In fact, he's ahead of him as is the car rejoining up there. We'll believe that's a lap down car. But Mark Mercer, 1.9 seconds back from Ross Balfour, your leader here on lap 8. Time to claw this one back, Connery, because there's no racing to be done per se, but I believe that's also Jack Hewitt again.
Yeah, I believe it is, as he'll get, well, out of the way of your leaders. But the thing is, gap at the front is up to 2.2 seconds, and 2.2 seconds kind of does feel like an eternity here in these Skip Barber machines. But can Mark Mercer add another race win to his many, and add a chance at another title to his already very many titles as well? Our 5-time champion Tom Ward out of this event. He's going to lose yet more points in the standings to Mercer, to Bill Fraser, to Stuart Adcock as well, as long as they all keep it on the great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And keeping on the great stuff will be the important factor that so many of them have forgotten this race, as we've had multiple incidents happening around the track, of course, and with our leaders broken up, it's a little bit more boring up at the sharp end. So we'll have a look back and see what else we have here. We have got a good round going on with, I believe that is Maltby, Cowan and Anthony Catt at the back of that group. There's a trio towards the bottom of your top 10. A blue car at the back there being Anthony Catt. The yellow is Maltby. The white is Cowan. Doing their best here to keep themselves together. They've been chasing. Adcock making a move there for 3rd place on Bill Fraser. 2 by 2 here as they head towards the 2nd corner. Or the 3rd corner, technically. I believe that is actually 2 at the start. As Fraser comes back at him on the outside. Has the overspeed to contact? Oh, Fraser getting uppity there with the veteran. And, well, Adcock proved I don't want to move if I don't have to, but he clips the curbs hard and he puts himself in a position there where Fraser has to slow down. He doesn't give him the choice, Connery.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Adcock actually picked up a bit of damage for that with it coming down into the chicane there, because he didn't seem to be all that comfortable at all. Through the second chicane, he's fine though. So I think it was just a scare for Adcock. I think, again, he pushes wide. This is so uncharacteristic. So maybe that contact did cause a little bit of damage to the suspension. Pulls towards driver's right-hand side, and Fraser has to go the long way around here at turn 8 and turn 9. But Adcock still defending the position. Good track awareness, but the thing is, Fraser looking to get the run off the corner. He will get the run off the corner, will get the slipstream, and will make it side by side down into the final chicane.
They are indeed, and running towards that final chicane, it's Adcock on the inside still, but could Fraser hang around the outside? He's going to go for it. Inside corner for the final section there. And Bill Fraser defends very nicely, although it was more of an attack than a defense, but it was a brave running outside for that first part of the chicane. Carried some great momentum there. And this is just testament to how much he's improved, of course, in the last couple of seasons here, Connery. Ooh, but he runs wide, and so does Adcock as well. And through comes Chris Malcolm. He says, I'll have that off both of you, thank you. As both of them make a mistake there trying to take creative lines into that first corner. And it nearly cost both of them. It didn't cost Bill Fraser in the end, as Malcolm takes the spot off Adcock. You're right, Connery. He must be carrying some sort of damage there from that contact, because that car is not behaving like it's used to.
Yeah, it just seems all that twitchy. He's not getting it nosed into the corners as perhaps he would want, but he's still going to go for the move here over Chris Malcolm. Malcolm having to try to take the outside line into the first chicane. In fact, he's just going to back off for that one. No point in fighting, but Adcock's going to go for more, though. He's going to try it over Bill Fraser, but Fraser manages to get himself through after being caught slightly napping there coming down into the chicane. Malcolm's going to tag on to the back of these two and then see what he can do at the end, I think.
So he does, and we've got a bit of a trio battling here for the 3rd, 4th and 5th spot here. So a podium position available for these guys, should they be able to find it. Mark Mercer's only clawed back a 1/10 of a second on Ross Balfour. It's 1.8 seconds separating those two right now. These guys here for the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, Connery, are never going to catch the leaders. They're 6 seconds back right now. As around the outside goes Adcock. Has the momentum in the line, will take the position off Bill Fraser. Will Fraser fight him back, though, at the final chicane again? We know he's had the chance, but doesn't have the momentum or the line here, so it might fall to Adcock to hold this position for the time being. But you've got to expect the young Scotsman's going to try something if he gets an opportunity. He is not the sort of man to wait and be patient. In fact, look at him there, looking already for the inside line, going into the first corner. Has the overlap, he's obviously going to take it. In they come. Wide entry there for Adcock, as he knows he can get a bit more momentum to the run if he can't have the inside line. Goes to an outside wider entry here for the second corner. The big, wide 180-degree loop there. Carries speed, trying to find positioning here on Bill Fraser. Fraser, though, keeping a very defensive line through all these corners, forcing Adcock to race his race, Connery.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is doing, but Adcock does have the run yet again, coming down in towards the turn 5 chicane here, but equal, absolutely equal on the brakes. They head side by side down into here. That doesn't usually work, and Adcock's gonna have to back off. Chris Malcolm has the run up the hill under the gantry there, but he is again gonna back off. So this is the Clark Williams strategy. Just let the guys ahead of you fight and then pick up the pieces after.
Does indeed, of course, and now on to, it'll be lap 12 as they come across the end of this one, as they near the end of the lap, of course. Leaders, the gap's actually down. It's now to 1.1 seconds for Mark Mercer and Ross Balfour. It could be even closer now, as I believe he's just touching the draft here, Connery. Yeah, I think we just heard that from race control. To 0.8 gap now, so within the draft there for Mark Mercer. Stuart Adcock fighting with Fraser again. Fraser on the outside here. But we see another round the outside. No, Fraser has the speed into the corner. Has the line. Adcock's going to have to fight hard for this 3rd place. Bill Fraser wants it more than he does right now. Balfour and Mercer had to really fight hard not to say Malfoy there for some reason, as they come through the second corner here. followed closely by lap car. That gap has dramatically come down now. There's an opportunity here for Mark Mercer to gain some valuable serious points over Balfour, who's really not in the title fight here, Connery. He's right upon him, and he's got speed on his side. Last time by, Balfour was a 44.3. Mercer was a 43.8, so dramatically faster as he goes to the outside here for the run to turn the first chicane. Won't actually fight in the chicane, but he had a much nicer line through it. Balfour's having to think defensively here.
Yeah, and Fraser and Adcock are going side by side yet again, heading themselves down into the first chicane, and Adcock will actually get that pass back on Fraser, but Fraser has the run out of the chicane, pushed onto the grass, whereas Adcock's they head up and down the hill now, coming down towards turn number 6, turn number 7 as well. Fraser will have the inside line for this complex here, but that changes very quickly to the outside line, but he will get that repass secured there, and Adcock has to try again as he pushes wide onto the grass again through that same section he did just a couple of laps ago. So battle for P number 3, battle for P number 1. Let's go.
Certainly is going here, and we'll be into lap 13 this time around, and one more section left for Balfour and Mercer. Final chicane here. Mercer right on the gearbox of Ross Balfour. This race is going to be down to the wire here. Can he get past Balfour? Can he take the win here? Will Stuart Adcock hold off or manage to get back past Bill Fraser, as they're joined as well by Chris Malcolm and Jack Hobbs in this front group? Hobbs now catching up to this pair as Adcock goes again. Going to have to go for the outside line here as Bill Fraser will hold him defensive. It's not a standard defensive. He's not staying to the inside. He's taking as much room as he wants on the racetrack, but round they go again, and Adcock holds it just with a very wide line there. Made Fraser loose there on the inside as he took it. But
here comes Mercer.
Oh, Fraser goes funny as Mercer goes for a move here on Balfour. The action is all over the track today. Here we go. 2 laps to go. Can Mercer do anything? He's not going to have a run again. He's going to have to go for a smoother line through the chicane. No difference at this point, but he has got a bit of overspeed. Bill Fraser, and there is now dropped back. Oh, Stuart Adcock's well past him actually there. Bill Fraser fighting with Malcolm as Mercer and Balfour up front. Oh, it was inside line to Mercer. There's a little bit of contact there with Balfour as Mercer narrowly got ahead there for a moment in the second chicane, Connery. Lost that one to Balfour. He's back ahead now. But this battle is definitely on here, and they're going to duke this one out, I think, to the end. Look at that inside line. Will be the outside for the next corner. But Mercer pushing harder and harder, pushing Balfour off his preferred line, unsettling him now.
Yeah, here we go, and it's going to be the last lap next time by, so a chicane and a lap to go to sort out the battle for P number 1. Here comes the run from Mercer into the final chicane. Has to go around the outside for the first part of it, but maybe he can do a little bit of cutback move coming through here. He attempts it, but good defensive line taken there for Balfour. No options really for Mark Mercer. White flag out on the starters stand as they head their way across the line, and Balfour is staunch on that inside.
Oh,
as he gets that tag from Mercer, and Mercer's going to have to go down the inside now, but though he backs out of it, and now this is on, Rachel.
Oh, it absolutely is. Now it is very much on. He's told him he's there, and he's told him he wants to make the move, but Balfour is being a little bit staunch with his defense. Behind him, Adcock has a good clear track actually over Bill Fraser, about 2 seconds on the racetrack, which is great for him, of course, as Thurston's held off Maltby and Cowan and Cat still. He's going to hold that position. Back to the front 2. These are the ones you want to watch, of course, as we come into the final moments here of Monday Night Skippys, and this one is getting very busy. Here we go into the first chicane. Can he get the better line? Can he carry some speed through? Mercer carries speed. Oh, Balfour gets loose. He loses momentum. Round the outside will come Mark Mercer. Inside line for the next chicane. Will Balfour hold the outside line? Is he capable? Bit of deep braking from Mercer. Can it be enough? Contact! Once again, Balfour pushes his way through from the outside line. Mark Mercer has to try and come back again. He's running out of corners here, Connery. This one is coming down to the wire. We'll have 2 real opportunities left into this penultimate corner here. And the final chicane, Mercer can't do much here other than try and gain momentum for the run to the final chicane. This is it, all or nothing now. He has to go for it in this final chicane. One last opportunity, and it's really running down to the wire now as they're side by side. Can he hold the outside line? No! Balfour has the edge on him, just a little, and Balfour will have the run. Balfour, as he runs to the line now, 100 yards from victory. It'll be Ross Balfour winning at Zolder. Second place, Mark Mercer. Stuart Adcock will come home in the end, surprisingly comfortably, with third place, and I can take a breath.
Yeah, you can take a breath. Bill Fraser will get himself P number 4, then Jack Hobbs getting himself from P number 14 in qualifying up inside that top 5. Chris Malcolm 6th, and Paul Thurston, I think, has come across the line in P7, so fantastic result for him.
It certainly was, as everyone comes across the line now. Yeah, P7 for Paul Thurston. He'll be very happy with that one, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to chat to him about that. Well, as everyone comes across the line now towards the end of this one, and we get to wrap this up. It's been a better day in general for some of the bananas. Darrell Taylor coming home in 19th after starting in 26th. Where was Barry West? Started 33rd, finishes 29th, so it's an improvement. He'll take that one. Barry's had a very bumpy season so far. But in general, a great race here today. Tom Ward, of course, didn't finish. He's down in 43rd, 7 laps down. We'll go through your post-race results. Ross Balfour comes home with the win today at Zolder in round number 6. Mark Mercer and Stuart Adcock join him on the podium. Bill Fraser, Jack Hobbs, your top 5, with Chris Malcolm, Paul Thurston, Peter Cowan, Simon Mulby, and Vicky Montanides, your top 10. Then it's Anthony Catt, Matt Cox, Bod Boland, Ben Daniels, Jake Ridlington, Paul Rowell, Jonathan Sheen, Simon McCaffrey, Darrell Taylor, and Tony Stack is your top 20. Rest of those positions up on your screen. We are going to go away for a quick second. Do not go away. You'll get the best part of Monday Night Skippys coming up next, the post-race show. So stay tuned.
Red Bull GRC is now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Well, welcome back to the post-race show here on RaceSpotTV, and as always, the faithful gentleman is here to talk to us. Paul Thurston backing up with another top 10 result. Paul, you started in 17th place. You had a very busy race today. You come home today 10 places up in 7th. Wow, you're certainly earning the title of Mr. T.
Thank you, I think. I don't like this track at all. I always moan at people who say they don't like tracks. They're all just corners with straights in between them. But this one, it doesn't suit my style. I don't like point and squirt circuits. But on the other hand, I have had some great races here. Today, I had Peter Cowan and Simon Maltby behind me basically the whole race. And they were just sort of like swapping places, but they were within a second the whole time. So I was having to drive qualifying laps just to keep the place. Luckily, I gained loads of spots, but the main reason for that was the people in front going off. I assume it's quite entertaining on the broadcast. I'll enjoy watching that tomorrow. Stuart was having a go, I think, at Bill near the end, but I don't know what happened there. But as I've said a few times now, it's definitely I either get nothing or I get top 10 or 6th or 7th, I think. So if I can carry on this for the rest of the season, yeah, it'll be a decent result in the championship.
Certainly will be. You're looking at another top 10 points finishing the championship, which of course will be a big one for you. Well, Paul, as always, thank you for joining us. We call you Mr. T partially because right about now, I suspect you're eyeing up the kettle for your post-race cuppa. So we will let you get off, and we are going to wrap things up here at Monday Night Skippys for this Monday. This has been a special guest show, specially produced for us by the Will Vincent, because the Hugo is not here. So say hello, Will.
Hello, goodbye.
There we go. Hello, goodbye from Will Vincent. There you go. That's your special guest, 1 second from Will Vincent. I've been Rachel, joined by Connery as always, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.